Hi, it's Mark Donegan, host of the Marketing Execution Podcast. Here's a stat that should stop every B2B marketer cold. 2/3 of your buyer's journey happens without you. Your ads, your SEO, your content, most of it never touches the decision. So what does? Community, not a support form, a real belonging engine. After years building go-to-market strategies for enterprise tech, I can tell you this is the most underused weapon in B2B. Now, here's the conversation.
Tune in, listen up, it's marketing time. Bright ideas sparking, blowing your mind. From strategies to big exec dreams. Catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Welcome to the Marketing Execution Podcast. This is the show for tech founders and leaders building B2B products and technologies. We show you how to go further, faster to get the business results you need.
From strategies to big exec dreams. Catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Mark, I can't stop thinking about this. We spend so much time chasing the next big platform, the next hack, the next angle to get noticed by customers.
Yeah, the endless chase. What's got you thinking?
Well, I was reading Mark Schaefer's take on community, and he drops this stat that it stopped me cold. He says 2/3 of our marketing is happening without us. Like, the customer journey is mostly occurring in places we don't control.
Oh, that's real. And honestly, it's probably worse than 2/3 for most B2B companies. I've seen it firsthand. You pour money into ads, into SEO, into content, and then you find out the deal closed because someone asked their friend in a Slack group.
Right. So if that's true, why are we all still obsessing over Facebook ads and Google rankings?
Because it's what we know. It's muscle memory. You see a problem, you throw an ad at it. But here's the thing. There is fundamentally changed. 800 million people have ad blockers. Everyone's streaming content without ads. The traditional playbook is it's breaking down.
So what's the alternative? I mean, you can't just stop marketing.
No, but you can stop marketing the old way. And this is what I find so fascinating about community as a strategy. It's not about selling to people anymore. It's about creating a space where people sell each other on you.
Okay, unpack that for me.
So there's this progression, right? First, you've got social media. Weak connection. Maybe someone sees your post, maybe they don't. Even if they like you, doesn't mean they'll buy. Then you've got audience, like what you're building with the Marketing Execution Podcast here. That's stronger because people are opting in. They're saying, yes, I want to hear from you.
But it's still a one-way street, basically.
Exactly. If you disappear, the audience disappears. But community, that's the third level. That's where people show up for each other. And all that connection, all that trust, all that collaboration, it spills over onto your brand.
So you're saying the brand becomes like the host of the party, not the entertainment.
That's a great way to put it. Yes, you're not the main attraction. You're the reason everyone's in the same room. And here's the business case that blows my mind. There was this entrepreneur who started a Facebook group for moms who wanted to be business owners, just a safe space for validation and support. Within 9 months, a 6-figure income. The business has doubled every year since. And get this, no sales team, no marketing budget, no marketing plan.
Wait, how is that even possible?
Because she built something people wanted to belong to. Nearly 80,000 members now who trust her completely. When she creates something new, they buy it. Not because of some funnel or retargeting campaign, because they're part of something.
That sounds amazing. But also, most companies try community and it fails miserably. What are they getting wrong?
Oh, this is the big one. 70% of brand communities are set up for customer self-service, help forums, basically. And look, that's fine, but you're leaving 90% of the value on the table.
Because they're still thinking about it as a support function, not a marketing function.
Right. And the other mistake is even worse. Companies invite a bunch of paying customers to a Facebook group and call it a community, but they're just trying to sell to those people, and customers can smell that from a mile away. They'll block you, ban you, run away from you if they sense manipulation.
So what's the right approach then?
You have to flip your entire mindset. Instead of sell, 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 it's help, help, help. Your job isn't to push product. Your job is to create a culture, to make people feel safe, acknowledged, listened to. There was this marketing agency in the UK that built a community, and it grew so big that the community became more important than their traditional business. Nobody even knows what their agency does anymore because the community overshadowed everything.
That's wild. But okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. How do you measure this? Because I can already hear the CFO asking for ROI.
Oh, I love this question because it's where most people get stuck. So think about it this way. You know Gatorade versus Powerade?
Yeah, Gatorade dominates, like 80% market share, right?
At more than double the price. And they don't do President's Day sales. They don't send coupons. They sponsor athletes. They show up at cultural moments. They pour that cooler over the winning coach. Can you prove that sells more Gatorade? Not directly, but they own the category.
So it's brand marketing versus performance marketing.
Exactly. And here's what's funny. At a recent bowl game sponsored by Powerade, when the players dumped the cooler on the coach, the announcer called it a Gatorade bath. Even when Powerade wins, they lose.
Oh man, that's brutal.
But that's the power of brand. And community is brand marketing. It builds loyalty, trust, advocacy, things that don't show up in your Google Analytics, but absolutely show up in your revenue over time.
So you're saying reframe community as brand investment, not a line item that needs to prove direct conversions.
Yes. And here's the other thing. We're moving into a post-cookie world. Privacy regulations are killing third-party data. But in a community, you have first-party data, real conversations, direct access to what your customers actually think and want.
That's a really compelling angle for the data-obsessed founders out there.
And honestly, the young entrepreneurs already get this. There's research showing 80% of startups are investing in community as a primary marketing strategy. 28% say it's the most critical thing to their success. They're not doing the old playbook because they know it doesn't work for their generation.
Mark, that's fascinating. Let's pivot for a second and talk about what this actually looks like for a founder who's starting from zero.
You know, that's the question that keeps me up at night. Because here's the thing, Tim, starting from zero is actually an advantage in some ways.
Wait, how is having nothing an advantage?
Because you don't have the baggage. You don't have some VP of marketing saying, well, we've always done Facebook ads, so let's keep doing Facebook ads. You're not fighting against that muscle memory we talked about.
Okay, but you still need customers. You still need revenue.
Absolutely. But here's what I want founders to really sit with. The reason this matters, the deep reason, isn't just about customer acquisition costs or lifetime value or any of that stuff.
So what is it then?
It's about what's happening to people right now. I mean, look at the data. Over half of young adults, we're talking 18 to 24, have sought medical help for mental health issues. Half. The average for everyone else is around 24%.
That's a massive gap.
It's a tsunami, Tim. And these are your future customers. These are your future employees. They're isolated. They spent formative years studying in bedrooms, getting jobs that are remote. One of my students told me her daughter graduated college and got a remote job. Her entire life transition meant moving from one room to another.
That's actually kind of heartbreaking when you put it that way.
It is heartbreaking. And here's where it connects to business. These people are longing to belong. They're crying out for connection. During the pandemic, 85% of Americans said their most important social connection was an online community.
So you're saying the business opportunity and the human need are the same thing?
Exactly. That's the aha moment right there. You're not just building a marketing channel, you're filling a void that traditional institutions used to fill. Churches, workplaces, civic groups, those are all declining.
And brands can step into that gap.
They can, but only if they understand what they're actually doing. I know of a company, marketing agency in the UK, where the founder started with just a handful of people meeting for lunch once a month. That's it.
And now?
Now the community is bigger than the traditional business. Nobody even knows what the agency does anymore because the community overshadowed everything. But here's the key. He didn't start by trying to sell to those lunch people.
Right, because they would have smelled that from a mile away.
Oh, instantly. And they would have run. The mindset shift is this. Your job is to create a culture where people feel safe, acknowledged, listened to.
So it's less about what you're selling and more about who you're helping them become?
Yes. Think about Harley-Davidson. They sell transportation. Same as Honda, same as Yamaha. But you never hear Harley running a President's Day sale.
Because they're selling the badass lifestyle.
That's their actual mission. Help people's dreams come true through the lifestyle of motorcycling, which is a polite way of saying, we're going to make you feel like a badass.
And that purpose intersects with what their customers actually want.
That's the formula. Your business purpose has to intersect with your customers' passions or purposes. You're creating something bigger together than either could create alone.
I think what you're really saying is that community isn't a tactic. It's a philosophy.
It's a commitment, and that's uncomfortable for marketers. We're used to experimenting. Try some Google ads. Maybe they work, maybe they don't. But community has an underlying promise that this isn't going away. Your customers are showing up for each other, and you're the host of that party.
Okay, so we've covered why this matters on a human level and a business level. I think our listeners are probably wondering what this actually looks like day to day. How do you build the culture? How do you keep people engaged without it feeling forced?
Okay, Tim, let's get into how people can actually use this stuff.
Yes, that's what I was hoping you'd say, because I know our listeners are sitting there thinking, okay, I get it. Community matters. But what do I do on Monday morning?
All right, so step one, you gotta find your people first. They're probably already there.
Wait, what do you mean already there?
Your first community members? They're not strangers. They're your existing customers, your most engaged followers, maybe people in a Slack channel or a LinkedIn group who already talk about your stuff.
So you're not starting from scratch.
Exactly. Think about Twitch. The founder kept noticing gamers hanging out on his platform. He didn't invent that behavior. He just built a home for it.
He followed the energy.
That's it. Follow the energy. Now here's the tactical part. Write down 10 customers who already love you. Not just buyers, fans. The ones who reply to your emails, who share your content without being asked.
And then what? You just call them up?
Pretty much. Ask them one question. What would make you want to hang out with other people who use our product?
And their answers tell you what kind of community to build.
Bingo. Now, step two. This is where most companies mess up. You got to define a purpose that's not about you.
Okay, break that down for me.
So most B2B companies say things like, our purpose is to have the best analytics platform or the fastest deployment time. That's fine for a sales pitch, but nobody gathers around that.
Right, because that's your purpose, not theirs.
Exactly, Tim. Your job is to find where your purpose intersects with their passion. Think about Miro. They don't just sell a digital whiteboard. They help distributed teams feel connected and creative together.
So the community becomes about collaboration, not the software.
Yes, and here's a simple exercise. Take out a piece of paper, draw 2 circles. One circle is what your company does. The other circle is what your customers deeply care about. The overlap, that's your community purpose.
Like a Venn diagram for belonging.
I love that. Stealing it.
It's yours. So we've got find your people, define a shared purpose. What's next?
Step 3 is the hardest mindset shift. You gotta stop trying to control everything.
Oh, that's going to be tough for some folks.
I know, but here's the thing. In my own community, I had this whole vision of what we'd talk about, what topics we'd cover. And guess what? The members took it somewhere completely different.
And your instinct was to pull it back?
My muscle memory screamed at me, but I let go. And they took us somewhere better than I ever planned.
So the community leads. You just host.
Think of it like throwing a dinner party. You set the table, you create the vibe, but you don't script the conversation.
Okay, so practically speaking, how do you create that vibe?
2 things, safety and status. People need to feel safe to share, to ask dumb questions, to admit they don't know something.
And status?
Recognition. People show up because they hope someone will listen, will acknowledge them. Maybe they'll earn a badge or get featured. That hope keeps them coming back.
So simple things like highlighting member wins, giving shout-outs.
Exactly. One company I know sends a personalized video to every new community member, takes 2 minutes, creates massive loyalty.
That's such a small thing with huge impact.
And here's the key metric most people miss. You're not measuring how many members you have. You're measuring how many members are connecting with each other.
Because that's where the magic happens.
That's the whole game. When members build friendships inside your community, they're not just loyal to you, they're loyal to each other. And if they leave your brand, they leave their friends.
That's a powerful switching cost that has nothing to do with your product.
Nothing. It's pure emotion, and no competitor can copy it.
All right, so let me see if I got this. Find your existing fans. Define a purpose that's about them. Let go of control. Create safety and status. Measure member-to-member connections.
You nailed it. And start small. You don't need fancy software. Mark Masters started with lunch, once a month, a handful of people. Now his community is bigger than his agency.
Mark, this has been incredibly practical. Before we wrap up, can you pull together everything we've talked about today? Give our listeners the big picture of why this matters and how to get started.
All right, let me bring this all together. We started with a hard truth. 2/3 of marketing happens without us. Customers are making decisions in Slack groups and private conversations we'll never see. The old playbook of ads and funnels is breaking down because people block ads and skip commercials. So what's the alternative? Community. Not as a support forum or a place to sell, but as a space where people show up for each other. Your brand becomes the host of the party. We talked about why this matters on a human level. People are lonely, they're longing to belong, and brands that fill that void create loyalty no competitor can copy. Then we got practical. Find your existing fans, define a purpose that intersects with their passions, let go of control, create safety and status, measure connections between members, not just member counts, and start small.
Mark, after everything we covered today, what's the one thing you really hope people don't forget?
Try to ask, how do I help my customers find each other? That shift changes everything. Because when people belong to something together, they don't just buy from you, they become you. The Marketing Execution Podcast is produced by Growth Stage Marketing. We are on a mission to see your company reach wild success using marketing pods.
Too big, accept dreams. Catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Thank you for listening and being a part of the marketing execution movement and community. To learn how growth stage marketing clients reach more buyers and drive business impact, go to growthstage.marketing. That's growthstage.marketing.